Hey, this is Key Creative Studio, Method Drawing Japan. Key Creative Studio, yeah. Let's make a point to draw every day. Okay, I'm gonna talk about how to draw the head in various angles of space and uh, depth. I think that's something people might have some problems with. Um, One of the main things we have to get around, okay, in terms of the head, is to understand the head as a volume, okay. Now you see the kind of shape I'm making right now. It doesn't really matter um, what kind of shape it is. Um, it, the important thing is like you have to see it as a volume, okay. In my last video, actually, I even like recommended even like blocking out the head, um, like a cup even, just for the sake of being able to understand it as a three-dimensional volume, because like you have these converging lines like that, right? So this is something, it might be easier for us like to get our head around, knowing like there's a top and like there's a clear bottom here, right? Um, so it doesn't really matter, if you do like an egg shape, if you do like um, a cup, a square, a box, or even you know something I used to do like a sphere, and then I would drop like a lower part like that. But again, the main thing is just really just to see this as a volume, okay? So not as a flat, not as a flat thing. So it doesn't really matter. Okay. Um, Sorry, it doesn't matter like what type of shape you start off with, because it's not going to look like this at the end, no matter whether it's this or whatever. Um, you know. So anyway, for the sake of argument for today, um, mostly I'm just going to start off like let's say like with the um, like an oval shape. Okay, for now. Okay. So when it comes to like understanding the head, right? Again, we want to understand this as a three-dimensional volume, right? So if we're gonna do that, when I lay out like where the eyes are gonna be, which are always like in the middle of the head, I'm going to I'm gonna arc this line because obviously this implies like this is going over an edge like that, right? Or like going over a surface. Okay, so the eyebrows are basically in the middle, and we can block out like this area for like where the eyebrows are going to be. Okay, eyebrows in the sorry the eyes are in the middle. So between like where the eyes are and the chin, okay, that's where you're gonna have like the bottom of the nose. From the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin, the middle of that is going to be like where basically where the mouth is going to be. Okay. All right. And then that's basically our head from here. Okay. Now basically there are other planes we can consider, right? But I'm not going to really get into that um, for right now. Um, the eyes, you're going to place the eyes roughly about here. Okay. Actually, that's a little bit. That's okay. That's fine. And the eyes are roughly always about like five heads. Sorry, five eye lengths apart. So this is like one, this is two, this is three, this is four, five, roughly speaking. Okay. Now, when I draw the eyes, again, I try to treat these also as a three-dimensional form. So, when I draw like the eyelid, I'm going over that form. Okay. In terms of the nose, okay, it's the bottom of the nose here. Okay, nose here like that, and then for the mouth, okay, you can put the lips here like this. Okay, and then there's our chin. Okay, the jawline is always on the same line as like where the mouth is. Okay, so if you ever get confused in terms of like where you should put like the corner of the jaw, that's roughly like where it should be. And then in terms of the neck drops down here like this. Okay. Oh, sorry. Then of course, here's our eyebrows. Okay. So here's our basic breakdown for a human. Okay. All right. Even though it's looking somewhat male, of course there are things I can do to adjust that, to make it look more female, um, make it look younger or older. Okay. And then I'm gonna put the hair in here. Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. I don't want to spend too much time on this, because really what I want to get into is like understanding this like from different from different perspectives, right? Like if if we're gonna like draw like the head in space or something like that. Okay. So let's say we have this head, but we want to view it from like another perspective. Like let's say if it was like looking up, right? So again, actually, this might be a good time to maybe like to like think about like the cup kind of example here, because that might be helpful for us um, to turn it in space, right? So basically, for example, like this cup here, if I was to turn this in space, obviously the lines are going to converge towards into the distance as this is going up, right? So like there's like my guideline like that, right? So obviously this is going in like this. So that means if the nose was uh, if the nose was here like this, obviously the nose is going to be like turning up like that. So because now it's more in space like that. Actually, I can keep going. Also, the ears, when a person is like looking upward, they tend to um, appear to be lower on the head, as somebody is like looking up. Okay, um, as they're looking down, the ears tend to come upwards. Okay, so let me do this in another way. Okay, so again, just my volume here like this, but again I'm going to imagine that this is going backwards, so I'm going to put my guideline here like that, and then I know the nose is going to be here, and then like the mouth is going to be here, and then the chin is going to be. So it's not so basically I'm imagining like this would be like the bottom, like for example like the bottom of that cup example, right? But of course abstracting it. Okay, chin is here. Again, like I said, the ears are here like that. Okay, the nose is going to be like this. So actually, the mouth is going to be it's going to be further up here like that. Made a little mistake here. So another thing, these lines, like where the eye line is, like where the mouth is, and actually even like the bottom of the nose, like that. You want to try to keep all those lines like parallel in relation to each other. You don't want them like to be like on like off lines because people will pick it up very quickly, and it'll just simply it'll seem like off for some reason, and even though they can't exactly say why, um, they'll definitely they'll feel it. Okay, so you want to, best as possible, you want to try to keep lines that should be parallel to each other. Um, yeah, make sure you keep that relationship as much as possible. Okay, and then of course like the neck is coming down like this. Okay, hairs back here. Okay, so obviously since this person is like looking backwards, we're not going to be able to just see the hair because the hair is out of the frame now, right? Because it's turned away from us, right? So we're not going to get that same kind of um, um, detail. Okay. Okay. All right, so roughly speaking, here's somebody. I'll just block in a little bit of the hair here just for some contrast, right? But I think you get the idea. Again, you know, head is turned up, so the ears are going to appear to be lower on the head like that. So okay. So basically that's what we're going to have in this case. All right. All right. So that's like somebody looking up. Okay. So now what if someone is like looking down, right? So let me do this. And put these guys over here. Or you know what? I'll do this. Alright. And boom, boom. And I'll take you guys. And I'll shrink you down. Like that. Good. And then I'll try to keep these guys on the same line. So yeah, if someone is like looking down, okay. So again, I'm just taking a volume. Okay. All right. And now I want to imagine things are going down this way. All right, generally speaking. Okay. Now you have to keep in mind now. Okay. Actually, if we are like looking at the head um, from the top, actually, the head does have a little bit of like this egg kind of shape to it, and actually I'm quite sure that um, the lower the frontal part is a little bit larger, um, slightly from the back part, if I'm correct. Um, Second. No, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm mistaken. Actually, no, reverse. I'm sorry. The back is a little bit wider. Sorry, back is wider. The front is a little bit smaller, actually. Relatively speaking, relatively speaking, it's not going to be a crime if. But anyway, yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. So anyway, so here, if this person is looking down, I'm going to put, let's say the eyes are here roughly, and then the nose is going to be down here like that, and then like the lower part of the mouth is here like that. So you see how everything is like converging downwards, okay? And then obviously the hair is going to be like the largest mass here because that is closest to us. That's a basic principle of anatomy. Oh, sorry, so of perspective. Excuse me. Things that are closest to us are going to be larger. Things that are farther away are going to appear to be smaller. Okay, so here's so everything you want to have, you want to try to make sure those things like converge downwards. Okay, roughly speaking. Oh, and again, like I said, the ears now are going to be, they're going to appear to be higher on the head, as in contrast to what we had before, where it appeared to be like lower on the head, like when the head is down. So the head is up. You gotta forgive me. It's 2 o'clock in the morning here in Tokyo as I'm writing this. Okay, so give me a little bit of slack, which means I should be going to bed soon. But I wanted to share this before I turned in. Okay. Okay. Nose, brow. Okay. You guys can see that. By the way, also because the head is pointing down, we're really not going to see, all that information in terms of like the neck, because the neck is like hidden away from us, right? So maybe we'll see like a little bit just below it, but we're not going to get that much. We're not going to get that much information. That's just not going to happen in terms of like being able to see all that information in the um, in the neck area. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's that. Okay. Well, let's say let's here's a common problem. Let's say let me select these guys. You know what? No, it's okay. You know what? I'll start with a new one. Okay. So excuse me. Okay, that's a little bit better for me to see. And alright, get rid of you guys. So let's imagine like we want to like look at the head from like a tilted position, but like looking upwards or something like that, right? So in order to do that, we have to understand a little bit of perspective, okay? So we have to be able to draw a box in very simple 3-point perspective, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to imply a clear turning edge, and a sense that we're looking at something from underneath. If we can't get this, it's going to be very, very hard to draw something that is convincing, to our viewers. Okay. All right. So if you guys have problems with this, um, do yourself a favor and just um, do like a whole bunch of studies of like drawing boxes in in um, in 3-point perspective. Um, you have to get this. All right, you have to get it. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Actually, I'm making some mistakes right now, but the general idea of like this, you can read this as a box. Okay. um, because you don't want your audience like to be like taken out of the experience, right? So you want to be able to know make it as believable as possible, so you don't break the suspension of disbelief for them. um, that they're looking at something that is solid. Okay. So anyway, so let's say what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another volume. Okay, very simple volume. And but I'm going to tilt it this way, and I'm actually putting like kind of a guideline for myself here, just to help myself see it a little bit more clearly. All right. Um, so if you're having trouble like seeing things like in perspective, it might be helpful to do that yourself. Okay. So you have this parallel line and that parallel line going down there. So this is where the eyes are going to be roughly. Same rules apply. The eyes are halfway through the head. The nose is going to be halfway between the eyes and the bottom of the chin, roughly. So I'm going to assume that the nose is going to be about here. Okay, and then from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin, another half is going to be here. Okay, and then you can put this for the brow. Okay, all right, jaw. Sorry, cheekbone. Sorry, ear is going to be back here. All right, drop this down. Next here, I can just drop this one down like that, and then roughly the head is going to be like that. Okay, and then I have the neck like this, and so again we should be able to see a little bit from like underneath the chin here, right? So we should be able to see like that. Okay, so that's the chin. Okay, jaw. It's coming down like that. Ears. Now, so we have things in perspective. Again, the same rule is applied here. That again, things that are far away are going to seem a little bit smaller. Right? Things that are closest to us are going to seem a little bit bigger. So this side of his eye, we're not going to see that, to be honest, because that's it's because it's turned away from us a little bit. Okay. But this side of his eye is going to be more visible to us because it's closer to us. Okay. Eyebrow. Eyebrow. Okay. Bottom of the mouth. Okay. Of course, this is going back. Okay. So since this is like the bottom of his chin, we can put some of this into shadow, because we're not going to see that. Sorry, light is not going to reach underneath there. Okay. Oh, another thing, something I try to keep in mind, as I draw the mouth, I always try to make sure like the mouth is like coming out a little bit, you know. Don't get into have like drawing like the mouth is like as a flat as a flat thing. Um, it's going around. It's almost like like a um, like a half orange, like stuck on someone's face. But basically, but that's what it is. Okay. Okay. Back of the head, like that. Guys, kind of starting to look like uh, like starting to remind me of like Hal Foster's Flash Gordon. Sorry, was it? No, sorry, Hal Foster didn't do Flash Gordon. What's this guy? Who's the guy that did Flash Gordon? Um, shame on me. Um, ah, Alex Raymond. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Alex Raymond is a guy that did the old Flash Gordon um, comics back in the day. Comics. I think they were more so in a newspaper strip. Okay. But he always had like this tuft of hair thing going on. Okay. Anyway, I think I don't want to noodle this, but you guys got the idea here. One second, I can do this a little bit better. Oh, another thing, in general, right? When you draw the head, okay, you always want to like draw like a little bit more um, than the head. Meaning, um, you want to draw or make it very clear like what it's connected to. Okay, because that's gonna help your understanding of like seeing it like three dimensionally. also, you know, it's helpful. It's helpful to to your audience, um, to understand, you know, like what the relationships are. That it's not just like a, you know, a head floating in space. You know. Okay. All right. So that's our basic head here. Okay. Like we're like looking up from underneath it. Okay. All right. So one last one in contrast to that, um, is like, well, what if like we were like looking down at it, right? Okay. Right. So like what? Yeah. What if we're like we were looking down? So again, it's a similar thing in terms of like being able to um, understand um, a volume in space, like a box, right? So in this case, we're looking up. You know, if we were like looking down at a box, right? It's gonna look something. Sorry, it's gonna look something like that. Okay. So if that's the case, then all right, we have our volume. Okay, I'm not gonna make a big deal about it because it's not gonna be the same way when I'm done with it. Okay, I'm gonna block in a box like this. Okay. Now, you know, hopefully, you know, we can get to the point where, you know, we can block things in without actually having to draw, you know, without having to actually having to draw the actual box, right? Hopefully, we can get to the point where we can just simply, you know, we could um, eyeball it, you know. So I'm going to assume this is my middle point. Okay. No, I'm going to imagine my chin is going to be down here, really. So the nose, bottom nose is going to be halfway between the eyes and the chin. And the mouth is going to be halfway, roughly. Now this is kind of relative now because he's looking down, right? So I'm not going to place it perfectly in the middle like that. So you have to really like visualize things and how things will be going if I was tilting it down, right? All right. Eyebrow, brow is here. Okay. Nose, nose is here. Okay. Mouth, nose again. Working at the nose again. Um, Actually, you know, the more that I tilt this head down, you know, the less of the mouth I should be seeing. Actually, the more this is being tilted down. Again, I try to imagine like this part of the mouth coming out as like a three-dimensional thing. Chin is here. Okay. ear is roughly here. Okay. It's going back. It's going back. So back of the head is going to be like this. So no, it's not going to fit perfectly in like the box. All all the time. Was actually I misplaced that ear. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. And again, since he's looking down, we're not going to see all that information of like the neck, because it's going to be hidden away, right? Okay, I guess I should give him some hair or something like that. Okay. So, oops. See? Made a mistake. But sorry. There we go. So you have to remember, like, this is supposed to be like a guide for you, like this, to see things in space. That's all. It's not meant to be, you know, the end all, alpha and omega, like how to draw the head. Okay. Just a guide. All right. So I have this. This is coming. So all these things are kind of, they're going down. We could see the top of his head, which is actually, it's larger, obviously. Okay. In this position. Okay. All right. All right. I think that's enough for today. But I think you guys got the general idea of this. Okay. So look, when it comes to drawing the head in various positions, right? Okay. Um, you really need to get yourself comfortable with drawing boxes, so that way um, you can um, have a little bit more authority over it as you're drawing it in different angles. Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna stop here for today, and I hope this was a little bit helpful. All right. Okay. I'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye bye.